When we speak about success, we need to pause and ask a very uncomfortable question, asterisk, who defined it for us? Asterisk, because most of what we're chasing today did not originate from within us, it was planted there. Slowly, subtly, through society, culture, and the constant noise around us, we inherited a definition of success that equates worth with wealth, visibility, and status. And the danger of that definition is not just that it's incomplete, it's that it can be deeply deceptive. You see, the human mind is wired to pursue what it repeatedly sees and admires. When success is constantly portrayed as a lifestyle of luxury, influence, and recognition, the Arabic, Alif Arabic, Lam Arabic, Alf Arabic, Lam Arabic, begins to internalize that image. It starts to believe that fulfillment lies at the end of that road, but Islam challenges this assumption at its core. It asks us to redefine success not by what we accumulate, but by what we become in the sight of Allah. There's a psychological trap here that many people don't recognize until it's too late. When you chase an external definition of success, you tie your self-worth to outcomes you don't fully control. Promotions, money, recognition, these are all variables, and when your identity is built on variables, your sense of self becomes unstable. That's why people who have it all often feel like they're losing themselves, because deep down they are. The illusion becomes even more dangerous when the pursuit itself feels productive. You convince yourself that you're working hard, that you're progressing, that you're building something meaningful. But movement is not the same as direction. You can spend years climbing only to realize that the ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. And that realization doesn't come easily. It comes with a cost of time, energy, relationships, and sometimes even your connection with Allah. From an Islamic perspective, success was never meant to be ambiguous. The Quran and the teachings of our tradition are clear. True success is tied to your Akhirah. It's about alignment, not accumulation. It's about whether your pursuits are bringing you closer to your Creator or quietly pulling you away. And this is where the illusion shatters, because something can look like success to the world while being a loss in the sight of Allah. So the question is not whether you are successful by societal standards. The real question is, asterisk, are you successful by divine standards? Asterisk, because those are the only standards that will matter when everything else fades. And perhaps the most dangerous illusion of all is this, thinking you have time to figure it out later. The truth is, every step you take in the wrong direction is not just a delay. It's a loss you may never recover. So, before you chase anything further, ask yourself this. Asterisk, is what I'm running toward truly success, or is it just a beautifully disguised distraction? Asterisk, once you begin to question the definition of success, the next layer you have to confront is even more subtle, and that is the nature of your own desires. Because not everything you want is good for you, and not every strong urge is meant to be followed. In fact, one of the most dangerous assumptions we carry is this idea that intensity equals truth. If I feel it strongly, it must be right. If I want it badly, it must be worth pursuing. But that's not how the Arabic, Alif Arabic, Lam Arabic, Nun Arabic, Va Arabic scene works. Desire, by its very nature, is impulsive. It seeks immediate satisfaction, not long-term wisdom. It pushes you toward what feels good now, even if it costs you later. And if that desire is not guided, not disciplined, it begins to take control of your decision, making in ways you don't even notice. You think you're choosing, but in reality, you're reacting. From a psychological perspective, unchecked desire creates a feedback loop. The more you indulge it, the stronger it becomes. The stronger it becomes, the less resistance you have. And over time, what began as a simple want transforms into an attachment, something you feel you need asterisk. This is how people become consumed by things they once believed they controlled. Whether it's wealth, recognition, relationships, or even personal ambition, the pattern is the same. The Arabic lif, Arabic lam, Arabic, af, Arabic lam, Arabic, but becomes tethered, and once it is tethered, it loses its Arabic. Alif Arabic, Sin Arabic, Ta Arabic, Af Arabic, Lam Arabic, Alif Arabic Lam. Islam does not come to suppress desire, it comes to refine it. It acknowledges that human beings are created with wants, with ambitions, with inclinations, but it draws a line between being driven by desire and being enslaved by it. And that distinction is critical, because the moment your desire overrides your values, you've already lost something far more important than what you're chasing. There's also a deeper philosophical issue here. When desire is left unchecked, it narrows your vision. You stop asking asterisk why asterisk you want something, and you become obsessed with asterisk how asterisk to get it. That shift is subtle, but it's dangerous. Because when the why disappears, your pursuit loses meaning. It becomes mechanical, almost automatic. You're moving, you're striving, but there's no clarity, only momentum. And this is where many people fall into a silent trap. They confuse passion with purpose. They assume that because they feel driven, they must be on the right path. But passion without guidance can be just as destructive as apathy. In fact, it can be worse, because at least the person who is lost knows they are lost. The one driven by blind desire believes they are exactly where they need to be. The Islamic tradition repeatedly calls us back to a higher level of awareness, to question our intentions, to examine our motivations, to ask not just what we are doing, but why we are doing it. Because a desire that is not questioned is a desire that will eventually control you. So pause for a moment and reflect. Asterisk, is what I want actually good for me, or have I simply convinced myself that it is? Asterisk, because if you don't learn to master your desires, don't be surprised when they begin to master you. If desire is the engine that drives us, then attachment is what anchors us, and sometimes it anchors us to the wrong place. Because once the heart becomes deeply attached to the dunya, everything begins to change in ways that are not immediately visible, but profoundly felt. Your priorities shift, your fears intensify, your sense of peace becomes fragile, and without realizing it, you begin to measure your entire existence by things that were never meant to define you. The dunya, by its very nature, is temporary. Arabic, lif, Arabic, lam, Arabic, alif, tat, hams, Arabic, sin, Arabic, lam, Arabic, lif, Arabic. Meme does not deny its beauty, nor does it prohibit benefiting from it. But it constantly reminds us of its reality. It is fleeting, unstable, and ultimately unreliable as a source of fulfillment. The problem is not in possessing the dunya. The problem is when the dunya begins to possess you, when your Arabic, Alf Arabic, Lam Arabic, Ba becomes attached to something temporary. It starts expecting permanence from it. And that expectation is where the suffering begins. From a psychological perspective, attachment creates dependency. The more you attach your happiness to external things, money, status, relationships, the more vulnerable you become to their absence. Your emotional state becomes tied to circumstances you cannot fully control. And when those circumstances change, as they inevitably do, your sense of stability collapses with them. This is why anxiety is so deeply connected to attachment. It is the fear of losing what you believe you cannot live without. And this fear is not always loud. Sometimes it manifests quietly, in the constant need for reassurance, in the inability to be content, in the subtle dissatisfaction that lingers even when everything seems to be going well. You achieve something, and instead of peace, you feel pressure to maintain it, to protect it, to not lose it. And that pressure slowly replaces the joy you thought it would bring. There's also a spiritual dimension to this that cannot be ignored. The more your heart is filled with attachment to the dunya, the less space there is for something greater. Not because Allah is absent, but because your focus is elsewhere. Your Arabic, ta Arabic, teen Arabic, lam Arabic, af becomes divided, and over time the balance shifts. Acts of worship may remain, but their depth begins to fade. The Arabic, alif Arabic, lam Arabic, alf Arabic, lam Arabic, ba, which was meant to find tranquility in remembrance, becomes restless in pursuit. And perhaps the most deceptive part of all of this is that it feels normal. Everyone around you is chasing, striving, attaching. It becomes the default mode of living, but Islam calls us to something higher, not to abandon the dunya, but to hold it in our hands, not in our hearts. To engage with it, but not be defined by it. To use it as a means, not mistake it for the end. So the real question is not whether you have the dunya, but whether the dunya has you. Because once it settles into your heart, it will demand more than it ever gives. And if your peace depends on something that can be taken away, then it was never truly yours to begin with. At this stage, the conversation becomes even more uncomfortable because it forces us to confront a painful possibility. What if the very thing you are proud of is the very thing that is harming you? What if your greatest achievement in the eyes of people is quietly becoming your greatest loss in the sight of Allah? We tend to assume that success is always positive, that if something is growing, your income, your influence, your recognition, then it must be a sign of Arabic, alif Arabic, lam Arabic, get Arabic, yet Arabic, right? But growth by itself is not a moral indicator. Something can grow and still be toxic. A habit can grow. An ego can grow. A distance between you and your creator can grow. So the real question is not whether something is increasing, but asterisk what it is doing to you in the process asterisk. There is a subtle shift that happens when worldly success begins to dominate your life. It doesn't announce itself loudly. It doesn't tell you you are losing your values. Instead, it negotiates with you. It asks for small compromises. A delay in Arabic, alif Arabic, lam Arabics, ida Arabic, lam Arabic, alif Arabic, ten, a boot, a here, a justification there, a moment where you choose convenience over principle. And each compromise feels insignificant on its own, but over time they accumulate, and what you end up with is not a single moment of failure, but a gradual erosion of your identity. From a psychological standpoint, this is how rationalization works. The human mind is incredibly skilled at justifying its choices, especially when there is something to gain. You begin to tell yourself that this is temporary, that once you reach your goal, you will fix things, that you will reconnect, realign, refocus. But the problem is that habits formed in pursuit don't simply disappear at arrival. The person you become on the way to success is often the person you remain after achieving it. And this is where the real loss occurs, not in what you gain, but in what you lose while gaining it. Your sincerity, your humility, your connection with Allah, these are not losses that show up on a resume, but they are far more significant than anything that does. Islam constantly reminds us that this life is a test, not just of what we avoid, but of what we are given. Sometimes the Arabic alif Arabic, meme Arabic, ta Arabic, het Arabic, alif Arabic, noon is not hardship, it is ease, not deprivation, but abundance, because abundance can distract just as much as hardship can break you. In fact, it can be even more dangerous, because it convinces you that everything is fine. So you have to ask yourself a difficult but necessary question. Asterisk, is what I'm achieving bringing me closer to who I'm supposed to be, or is it slowly pulling me away? Asterisk, because if your success requires you to sacrifice your principles, your Arabic, tain Arabic, ba Arabic, leaf Arabic, dal Arabic, leaf Arabic, ta, your Arabic, leaf Arabic, get Arabic, lam Arabic, alif Arabic, af, then it is not success. It is a trade, and it is a trade where you are giving up something eternal for something temporary. And the tragedy is that many people don't realize this until much later. When the noise settles, when the achievements are there but the peace is not, when the applause fades and all that remains is a quiet sense of emptiness. So be careful what you celebrate. Not every win is a victory, because if you have to lose your soul to gain the world, then you have already lost more than you can ever afford. There is another force that quietly shapes what we chase, and often without us realizing it. It is the pressure of others. Not always direct, not always spoken, but deeply felt. The pressure to keep up, to measure yourself against those around you, to ensure that your life looks successful by the standards that have been normalized, and in today's world, that pressure has become constant. You are no longer just comparing yourself to a small circle. You are comparing yourself to thousands, sometimes millions, through what you see every single day. Comparison is not a new phenomenon, but its intensity has changed. It used to be occasional, now it is continuous. And the more you are exposed to curated versions of other people's lives, the more your perception of reality begins to distort. You start to believe that everyone else is ahead, that everyone else is achieving more, that you are somehow falling behind. And once that belief settles in, it begins to influence your decisions in ways that are subtle but powerful. Psychologically, comparison shifts your focus outward. Instead of asking, what is right for me, you begin asking, how do I measure up? Your goals become less about purpose and more about perception. You don't just want to succeed, you want to be seen as successful. And that distinction matters because once your motivation is rooted in validation, it becomes unstable. It depends on reactions, on approval, on recognition, and those things are never consistent. This is where Arabic, alif Arabic, lam Arabic, noon Arabic, alif Arabic, sin begin to lose themselves. They start pursuing paths that were never truly theirs. Careers they don't find meaningful, lifestyles they can't sustain, choices that don't align with their values, all because they are trying to meet an expectation that was never meant for them. And the tragedy is that, from the outside, it may look like success, but internally there is confusion, exhaustion, and a quiet sense of disconnection. Islam addresses this at a very fundamental level by reminding us that your journey is individual. Your Arabic, rot Arabic, Zain Arabic, Af is written, your Arabic, Alif Arabic, Mim Arabic, Ta Arabic, Het Arabic, Alif Arabic, Noon is unique, your Arabic, Het Arabic, Sin Arabic, Alif Arabic, Ba will be personal. You are not competing with others in the way you think you are. The Arabic, Mim Arabic, Tain Arabic, Yet Arabic, Alif Arabic, Ot is not how you compare to someone else, but how you respond to what you have been given. And when that perspective is internalized, it brings a kind of clarity that comparison can never provide. There is also a deeper issue with constantly seeking validation. It places your worth in the hands of people who are not qualified to define it. People who themselves are uncertain, who are also comparing, also chasing, also trying to be seen. So you end up in a cycle where everyone is looking at everyone else for approval, but no one is truly grounded. And this is why comparison is so dangerous. It doesn't just distort your goals, it distorts your identity. You begin to lose sight of who you are because you are too focused on who you think you should be. So step back and ask yourself, if no one was watching, would I still be chasing this? Because if the answer is no, then you're not chasing a dream, you're chasing an audience. And an audience can applaud you, but it can never give you peace. After everything we've explored the illusion of success, the danger of unchecked desire, the weight of attachment, the hidden cost of worldly achievement, and the pressure of comparison, the natural question becomes, what now? Because the goal is not to leave with awareness alone. Awareness by itself does not change direction. It only reveals it. The real transformation begins when you decide to realign what you are pursuing. Islam does not call you to abandon ambition. It calls you to purify it. It does not ask you to withdraw from the world, but to engage with it with clarity and intention. The issue was never the act of chasing, it was what you were chasing, and why. Because when your pursuit is misaligned, even your effort can work against you. But when it is aligned, even your struggle becomes meaningful. Realignment begins with a shift in intention. Not a superficial statement, but a deep internal recalibration. You ask yourself honestly, why do I want this? And then you go further. Does this bring me closer to Allah, or does it gradually distance me? These are not questions you ask once. They are questions you revisit consistently. Because intention is not static, it changes, it drifts, it requires constant Arabic, Meme Arabic, Rot Arabic, Leaf Arabic, Arf Arabic, Ba Arabic Ted Mabut. There is also a profound psychological benefit to this kind of realignment. When your goals are rooted in something higher than temporary outcomes, you become less fragile. Success no longer inflates you, and failure no longer breaks you. Because your sense of worth is no longer tied to results, it is tied to sincerity. You begin to operate from a place of stability where effort matters more than outcome and purpose outweighs recognition. This is what it means to pursue with awareness. You still work, you still strive, you still aim high, but your Arabic, Meme Arabic, Tain Arabic, Yet Arabic, Alif Arabic, Got changes. You measure success not just by what you achieve, but by who you become in the process. Are you more patient, more sincere, more conscious of Allah? Or are you more distracted, more anxious, more attached? These internal indicators are far more telling than any external milestone. And when your pursuit is aligned with the Akhirah, something remarkable happens. The Dunya itself begins to fall into its proper place. It no longer controls you because it is no longer your ultimate goal. You benefit from it, but you are not defined by it. You engage with it, but you are not consumed by it. There is an Arabic, Noon Arabic, Wow Arabic, Tain of freedom in that. A freedom that cannot be achieved through wealth, status, or recognition. But this kind of clarity requires courage, because it may mean walking away from things that look impressive but feel empty. It may mean slowing down when everyone else is rushing. It may mean choosing a path that is less celebrated but more sincere. And that is not easy, but it is necessary. So as you move forward, don't just ask yourself what you want to achieve. Ask yourself what you are willing to lose in order to achieve it, and whether it is worth that price. Because in the end, the only pursuit that will never betray you is the one that leads you back to Allah.